Today on the newscast, Israeli airstrikes target an Iranian weapons shipment inside Syria. Plus, a new U.S. report says the Iranian regime is getting even closer to a nuclear bomb. Get my take next. Hey folks, Eric Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman newscast. A very busy weekend once again in the world's most chaotic and strategic region, the Middle East, and of course, the Iranian regime is at the center of it all. We've got two breaking news stories for you today. Number one, an Israeli airstrike against an Iranian weapons convoy near the Syrian capital of Damascus. And number two, a new report released by the U.S. Defense Department last Friday that was, surprise, surprise, virtually ignored by the mainstream media here in the West. But it is a report you need to know about. It details just how close the Iranian regime may be to developing nuclear weapons. Again, this report released by the U.S. Pentagon, and you got basically a yawn and a shrug of the shoulders by the mainstream media here in the United States. But that's why you tune in to the Watchman newscast right here on YouTube every day to get these breaking stories that impact you no matter where you live. So be sure to subscribe if you have not done so already, and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Hey folks, we're about 1,000 subscribers away from having 700,000 overall. We're thrilled about that because it means that the message is getting out far and wide to a broader audience. So we would love if you could subscribe to the channel and join us every single day here as watchmen and women on the wall for such a time as this. Okay, what a time it was over the weekend when Israel once again carried out airstrikes near the city of Damascus. Now, it seems, and I'm not kidding, on a weekly basis, we are reporting here in the newscast on Israeli airstrikes in and around the Damascus area. In particular, Damascus International Airport has been a target because the Iranian regime is using that airport as a hub to transit weapons through Syria into the hands of Hezbollah in Lebanon. Well, this latest strike didn't target, reportedly, Damascus International Airport, but it did target Iranian sites in a village west, or near a village west of Damascus called Al-Dimas. Now, an Iranian weapons convoy, according to reports out of the region, was traveling on its way to Lebanon, aka weapons shipments to Hezbollah, when Israel carried out airstrikes against it. There were also reportedly some Assad regime soldiers there alongside their Iranian counterparts. No word on if there were any casualties. And of course, Israel, as is its MO, is not saying anything about these strikes over the weekend. But folks, no surprise, number one, the Damascus factor, and number two, Iran hell-bent, as we have reported here many times, in transiting advanced weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon. And as much as Israel has pushed them back and carried out brutally effective strikes against the Iranian regime, Hezbollah, and its allies in Syria to the tune of hundreds upon hundreds of strikes over the past several years, as much as Israel has done that, the Iranian regime still has not gotten the memo apparently, because they continue to try to transit these weapons to Hezbollah, in particular, precision-guided munitions, PGMs for short. And they do exactly what their name says, folks. These are missiles that are designed to strike targets with greater accuracy, greater precision, what Iran is doing many times, including on civilian flights, traveling through Damascus and Aleppo international airports in Syria. They're putting the PGM parts on these flights or in these truck convoys traveling across Syria, and then Hezbollah, with Iranian guidance, can assemble them on the ground in southern Lebanon for use in a future conflict against Israel, God forbid. But we do know that certainly Hezbollah must have at least some of these precision-guided missiles fully intact in their arsenal, and it's a good bet that Israeli intelligence knows exactly where these missiles are in southern Lebanon, and that they would be targeted by the Israeli Air Force in that coming great northern war that we've talked about so much here in the newscast, that will pit Israel against the likes of Hezbollah, the Iranian regime, and their various allies in Iraq and Syria. By the way, this will develop into a full-blown regional war, I believe, where that ring of fire that surrounds Israel right now, that Iranian-sponsored ring of fire, whether it's Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza to the south, further south, the Houthis in Yemen, and then again, those various Shia militias backed by Iran in Syria and Iraq. I believe that ring of fire I just described will ignite. Yes, I've called it the Great Northern War. I believe the fighting will kick off there, and the bulk of the fighting, the fiercest fighting, will be to the north. But folks, make no mistake about it, Iran wants this to be a multi-front war. Iran and its proxies have made that very clear. It's not going to just be Israel and Hezbollah head-to-head and toe-to-toe in southern Lebanon. It's going to be a broader regional war where, certainly in the immediate region, the immediate vicinity of Israel, where Hamas will throw its hat in the ring. Again, perhaps the Houthis, these Shia militias, and who knows what Iran will do with their ballistic missile stockpiles. And Israel is preparing for exactly this scenario. I said it was a very busy weekend in the Middle East. Well, yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened his security cabinet, and you have to believe that they discussed, once again, as all Israeli officials have been publicly discussing over the past several months, the possibility of a multi-front war. And another topic we will likely talk about on Wednesday's live stream, Iran's nuclear program. You might say, well, not this again. We've been hearing about this for 20 years. And indeed we have. Someone once described Iran's nuclear program as the Cuban Missile Crisis in slow motion. I think that's a very accurate description of what we've seen over the past 2, nearly 3 decades now with Iran's slow-moving but steady drive towards a nuclear capability. I mentioned this new Pentagon report at the top. Folks, I think it's absolutely worth mentioning. It said that Iran has enough fissile material that if it chooses, it could have the bomb within 2 weeks. I'm not saying 2 weeks from today. That's not what we're saying. It could be a year from now that the Iranian regime makes that decision. They say, you know what? We're so close. Now is the time. Let's do it now. What this report is saying is that if Iran, again, so chooses, within 2 weeks, it could be there. It could have the bomb. We've heard various reports very similar to this over the past 2 years from various intelligence agencies around the world. What do you think of all of this, number one? Again, let's talk about it on tomorrow's newscast and also Wednesday when we go live for a full hour. And number two, final thought on all of this, folks, Israel will never allow Iran to acquire the bomb. And if Israel knows that Iran has made the choice, look, we know they've made the choice. They want the bomb, but made the choice, say, today, tomorrow, Israel is going to act. We don't know when Iran is eventually going to say, now is the time to break out. But when they do, when they are ready to break out, you can bet that Israel will not allow Iran to get there. Israel has excellent intelligence capabilities on the ground in Iran and throughout the region, and Israel will have a very good inkling, I believe, of when Iran is ready to have full-blown that nuclear weapons capability. So fasten your seatbelts and stay tuned, folks. Stay in prayer because things are heating up in these prophetic Bible times in which we are living right now. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Watchman Newscast. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.